And we're live. Hey, Dr. Kym, so good to see you tonight.
How are you, Renee?
I'm good. I'm good. It was a big day today.
Yeah.
You guys, when we came on and Kym was a little late and she came on and she's like, "Oh, it's Florida." I said, "What's going on?" She says, "We're getting a hurricane." I hadn't heard that. So
Yeah.
people are like lining up for gas and for water and evacuation and all this. And you know what happens, right, Kym? How many of these have you been through where it's like, oh, Chicken Little, the sky is falling, and then much ado about nothing. We can only pray that that's what's going to happen.
I know. It's just everybody gets ready, and it just everything's. Do we have the flashlights? Do we have enough food? Do we have this? Do we have that? And we've just and once you're a Floridian, you just kind of go with it.
You go with the flow. I know. I was there. I lived in South Florida for quite about 5 or 6 years, and I moved to Georgia the year before the huge hurricane. I was so glad. So anyway, let us proceed. So anybody that's over watching us, welcome. Just know you can always give us a little comment down there. Angelita's there. Hey, Renee. And hey, Angie, I miss you back. And we're just going to get started, but please feel free, ask comments, questions, testimonials. We always love those down in the comments. And so Kym, welcome, darling, to the Autumn Equinox. So there, in Chinese medicine, I love it when you say, in my medicine. My medicine. I love that.
My medicine. Like I own it.
You do own it, girl, for sure. And you wear it well. Let's talk about what is the autumn equinox in your medicine.
Well, oh my gosh, it represents lung health. It represents a change. I wanted to talk to you about something that a friend of mine wrote this morning about the winds of autumn, and are beginning to shift and move, blowing the leaves off trees. So it's representing the flow, and I think it's so cool that, that's what the iteracare wand does. It blows, right? And so we can think about that, right? And so it blows the leaves off trees, sweeping away the debris that summer has left behind. And that's a beautiful little saying, right? And Earth is slowly contracting and recovering from the heat of the summer. So that's what our body is doing. Not only the Earth, but also we are doing that. We're recovering, and that's how the wand helps us with that. And it just makes sense to pair the healing with the wand with traditional Chinese medicine. Yes. So anyway, it allows moisture. This is to begin to develop and build. All these are traits of the metal element. So we have, if you look here, we have all the elements of the seasons in the slide. So you can see it's a real thing. Here we've got the orange that represents fall, and it's the earth. And but we have all the other different seasons of the of traditional Chinese medicine and of our seasons. So we have earth, air, water, and fire. And I always look at the correlation between earth and water. And so, right?
The opposite.
Yeah, the opposites. Right. So anyway, so all these are traits of the metal element, the autumn season, as we head into the quieter energy of winter. You use the autumn, you use what you're doing with your body, how you're nourishing your body, whether it's with the wand or wanding water, drinking the wanded water. You use that energy and letting go to release anything that no longer serves you. This is a perfect time to release the old skin before going into the rest of the winter. And so the lung is connected with skin.
With skin. Right. Beautiful. And so it's the Lung Meridian.
Right.
So it's the Lung Meridian, which also is correlating to skin, and that's a yin element. So what's the yang?
Large intestine is it yang? Yin yang, and so that large intestine can be nourished also when you nourish the lung. It makes sense, if you want, you need moisture, right, to actually have good bowel movements. You can think of it like that. And your skin needs the purities of the moisture, of the water. And I think that, how many people, I had a patient today, speaking of the wand, I had a patient today that came in and walked into my office and told me, she says, look at this. And I looked at her, she says, look at this. And her skin was so smooth. And she had a lot of skin tags on her neck. The last time I saw her, which wasn't too long ago, probably about 2 and 3 weeks ago. And I was really kind of blown away at that whole typical blown away, right? Anyway.
Speaking of the air.
Blown away that all the skin tags, all the skin, actually the skin tone was so even, and her complexion, her whole facial, just the complexion was completely different. And walking down the street, maybe I wouldn't have noticed till she brought my attention to it, or in the treatment room I would have. But she was so excited about it, and talking about how she feels that she actually spritzed her face with the wanded water also. Yeah.
Beautiful. It's amazing for skin. I mean, the wand is just so incredible for skin. And I just find it really interesting. Both myself, but more my daughter, had, especially when she was a young girl, she had a propensity to asthma and eczema. And it would get really bad in the fall. And so we've got that lung where she couldn't breathe, right? Then the skin would get congested. And, because I didn't know about all of this. Of course, we didn't have the wand, but even just how to nourish in the fall. But it just so made sense because I also knew she had a gut issue. So it was the lung, the skin, and the gut, and how all connected that is.
Yes.
Now I can put it together and like light bulbs, but back then had no idea what to do about all of that.
Right. It's yeah. It's just a beautiful thing that lungs, that makes sense. The breath, how you breathe, inhale and exhale, is nourishing your skin, nourishing, the large intestines. And so it's just beautiful. But as we attune to the autumn season and the waning daylight, the lung meridian kind of comes out. And the lung meridian, in traditional Chinese medicine, we have numerous meridians and the meridians are correlated with different organs in the body. So they're also called channels, and they carry the energy, the chi, or whatever you want to call it, energy or chi, or circulation and blood to provide nourishment throughout the body. And all those little highways that's in your body, the meridians and channels, they nourish the body in different ways based on what way the meridian goes in the body. But if we look at the lung, here's the lung channel, the lung meridian. It goes from the chest to now this can go on either side of your body. They're balanced, and it goes all the way down to the thumb.
Through the thumb.
And so how nice is the wand? You could use the wand and nourish the lung channel, nourish your skin, nourish your internal organ, your large intestine, by actually, and being open to the fall equinox and the fall season by nourishing the lung.
Man, that is beautiful. I know we've seen one video that Sage did, and I just loved it. And I've done it frequently, where we just started kind of on one side of the thumb, went all the way up here, just wanding into here, down a little, right? Because you do want to get into that one lung channel, LU1. and then across the chest, and then over to the other side and up and all the way up the thumb. So, and just do it a few times, right? Because it just
Right.
it supports everything and activates it, and then you can feel it open.
Right.
And then I do that, and then sometimes then I'll just go right into the heart and just, as we continue through. Kym, we didn't talk about this, so I don't want to catch you off guard, but
Okay.
like that one LU1 point, right? That's a specific
Yes.
acupoint. Is
Yes.
it, would you say it's good for one or two things? Something that to maybe.
Well, lung one is always good for grief. And, talking about grief, it's not just, I'm grieving a loved one that's lost or a friend that's lost, but grief can come in so many different ways. When we hit the pandemic, a lot of people had grief because they lost their community, meaning they're being able to go out into the community and be with their friends. And a lot of people grieve that. A lot of people grieve because the world changed so drastically. And now I think we're getting used to it and things opened up, but I think we're a little bit more used to what has happened to our world. But, grief can be losing a job. Grief can be moving from a favorite house that maybe you can't afford anymore. There's so many things that grief enters, all the different aspects of grief. So that those lung points are so good for grief. And for breathing, we don't, if you think about it, when you're crying and you're sad, your body's kind of more bent over and we're not open. Our chest isn't open. And so we're actually cutting off that nourishment to the lung.
Beautiful. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. It
Right.
is so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So would you say, are there certain foods maybe that are really nice to incorporate now?
Well, white foods, meaning meaning all the potatoes. Potatoes are white. You can incorporate those. I mean, in Chinese medicine, we like the carbs too. I mean, it's all in moderation.
Right.
Carbs,
Yeah.
So turnips, anything white that goes with the lung channel, that goes with autumn.
Oh, it's so interesting. The reason I asked too is, one of the things I just so love about your medicine is it's just so holistic, right? It really looks at not just the body, but the environment and nature and mimicking nature, because we are part of nature, right? We are animals on this earth. We do flow like water. And I mean, there's just so many beautiful things as opposed to Western when we're just completely separate and everything is, even the doctors separate themselves in parts, right? Chinese medicine, everything is all connected because it's all connected. And the more that we understand the role of, say, the fascia, right? It's intertwined in everything. And it's really through the fascia that we generate the chi, through movement and through opening up the channels, correct? At least that's my understanding of it. This is layperson Renee talking about your medicine, but it's just my general understanding of it because I love it. It just makes so much sense. So saying all that to say, and you tell me if I have this correct, like in the summer, because it's hot, you want to eat cooling foods or more raw foods. And then as it gets cooler, to maybe start doing more cooked foods, not so much raw, warming foods, white foods. Would cauliflower, it's white, is that considered a white food?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah.
Bananas. So those kinds of things, as opposed to how we look at it from our, okay, we're going to do paleo, plant-based. That's not how this is, because there's foods that are good for all different things and nourishing different parts depending.
Exactly. Do you know Seasons 52, that restaurant?
Yeah.
It's seasons, right? So
Right.
it goes with the seasons. So they always, they do you know their whatever they have in season goes with the seasons in traditional Chinese medicine.
Oh, no kidding.
Very interesting. So somebody, I knew that Chinese, that Seasons 52 was a chain. So you must have it in where you are.
We have it in Atlanta, I know. And yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Some of the issues, somebody asked a question about lung. So what could you, what enhancements can you expect after wanding the lung channel? Well, some of the issues that we connect to lung weakness include lowered immune system, include frequently catching colds, flu, cough, seasonal allergies, sinus infections, asthma, skin issues such as acne and rashes, and hives and eczema, and psoriasis. Although we can address issues connected to the lung year round, the autumn season is the time of year where you most powerfully support. So we can support all the organs at all different at the same time in the year. We can go to kidney, we can go to lung, we can go to heart. But this is because it's the fall season. That's when whatever we do with the lung channel is just blown up. It's more extenuated. So in fact, for those with spring allergies, we start to strengthen the lungs in the fall to lessen the allergies of the spring.
Oh, interesting. And that's because they're opposite on the chart.
Right.
Because they're transition periods.
Yeah.
You told me something else that was really interesting, that in Chinese medicine, there's actually 5 seasons.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to share that one? Yeah, one extra season.
The extra one is late summer. And late summer prepares the body for the fall equinox. So that's kind of interesting too, right?
It's interesting. It's so interesting. Right. And just to understand through this how temperature and the amount of daylight and darkness that we have, like the Chinese, they understood how all of that really affects this organism. So we are this internal, external organism where we're really sharing the environment with everything going on, and to be aware of how all these things really make a difference. I know for myself, when there are big transitions in temperature or weather, that's like, people will say, okay, now it's getting cold, make sure you bundle up, stay warm, right? Or you'll catch a cold. And it's like, I used to go, well, that's not the germ theory. Like, I'm not buying that. But it's not really that. It's that your immune system can drop if you're not nourishing and taking care, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
So, right. Just a complete paradigm shift from how we Westerners look at health and how we address the health as well.
Isn't it? One other thing you should, I love every organ in Chinese medicine has a time. And there's actually, we'll have to do that in another segment. But so there's a clock, there's a Chinese clock. And the lung is from 3 to 5 a.m. That's when the lungs are nourished. That's when, when you maybe wake every day between 3 and 5, and some people do that.
Yeah.
That lung is very important to be nourished, at that time. And it's a lungs waking you up saying, hey, I need nourished. So if that happens, I would suggest, if you do wake from 3 to 5, and you go, oh, why am I waking at from 3 to 5? Take the wand, go down the lung channel, and just experiment with that. Want some water, or have the wanted water, drink some nice room temperature water, and at that time, and take the wand and, wand that lung channel and see whether you can get your body in a pattern of, and you can nourish the lung so you don't have to wake up at, ungodly hour, right? I mean, some people wake up at 5 for their jobs, but I'm just saying 3 o'clock, unless you work the night shift, that's a hard time to wake up,
when I was going through hormonal changes, man, yes, 3 to 5, there's no question. And had I only known this, that probably I needed the hydration. Oh man, if I would have only had that wand, that would have been really good. So I think that's just, it's one thing to know, okay, that's the lung. What do I do about it? Now we have a thing to do about it.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Have that wanded water sitting right there. Do a little bit of a drink. As long as it's not too loud in your partner, you may have to go outside. I
Yeah. Yeah.
don't think the hubs would be so happy. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Right. But oh,
Exactly.
what a great thing to be able to do. And that can reset you, which is so nice.
Yeah.
Right. You do it, it resets everything.
Yeah.
And boy, that would be just such a great like that's working.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
Feel it. That's an absolute.
Yeah. Yeah. What else did I want to? I wanted. I think we touched enough on grief, but what I find so beautiful is the root word spirit is found in inhalation, and it's the guiding breath. So it's inspiration and aspiration, right? So inspiration and aspiration, which convey the lungs' power by guiding the breath.
Yes.
And
Oh,
so important to be breathing as you're wanding.
breathing and believing. And you had said something else that I think is really important too, along that same line, which is part of the whole idea of what we're going through now at this time of the autumn equinox, is to get rid of things that aren't serving us. It's time to get rid of the debris of summer, what's not serving us.
Yeah.
What a beautiful thing as you're breathing and you're wanding to think, okay, whatever it is that you've chosen, I really want to get rid of this. It's not serving me. What can I bring in? Right. So maybe instead of the getting rid of, or maybe up one side, how does this sound? You could go up one side, what I'm getting rid of, and then on the other side, what I want to bring in.
Yeah. In and out, that'd be great. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
God, so beautiful.
So, we're moistening and I still think about the wanded water, how important it is, right? So we moisten the lungs to strengthen the chi of the lungs, the energy of the lungs, and also protect the mucosal lining, which is very important. It protects the mucosal lining by eating foods that are more, that have moistening properties.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the white foods do. Like they propel the chi, they propel the energy through the body as the lungs do. So the foods do it for you, so we could be wanding our foods. We could be putting something white right there on our plate, and like turnip and parsnip, rutabaga.
All that root stuff. Those are great root.
Pear. What?
Those are great root vegetables.
Yes. Yes.
So the earth, the root, bring that in. White pear. Interesting.
Right.
So pear, but not apple?
Apple, yes. Yes. Okay. Apple, yes. And rice and oats and almonds and sesame seeds and onion. And garlic. Fennel. Those are all those white veggies and fruits.
Gosh.
White grapes.
Well, I get to eat my potatoes and my grapes, honey girl.
Yeah.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things you can do to nourish your body with, and pair it with the iteracare wand. So.
Beautiful. Kym, thank you so much. This is so interesting. And thanks you guys for being on today, just saying hi. Cheryl-Ann was talking about the kidney channel. We did that last week. So Cheryl-Ann, you can go on to YouTube channel if you'd like and find that on our last one. We did kidney channel. And hi, Tammy and David and Dan's on. So great, you guys. Thanks and welcome. If anybody has any other questions or anything about that, that would be beautiful. Gosh, and this week I've been just getting some really beautiful testimonials from people using the wand with just some really lovely things with eyes getting, having some better results and skin getting better results, which is wonderful. I loved what you said that, and skin tags kinds of things starting to fall off. Had a beautiful testimonial. I won't share the name, although she did say this on one of our groups. And she had some surgery, some breast implants removed, and didn't have any feeling there, which can happen, right? During those surgeries, the nerves get cut. And she'd been wanting and drinking the water and wanting and drinking the water. And all of a sudden she like was in the shower one day and went like, oh my gosh, like I'm starting to get feeling. Do I feel that? And all of a sudden she started to get feeling back, that it was regenerating those nerves. I mean, she's like,
amazing.
She had, and you know, the reason I want to mention this, it is amazing, is because, well, because that's so amazing, but besides that, she wasn't expecting that, right? It wasn't why she got the wand.
Right.
And so I just really love to constantly say to people, you know, the body has its own priority of healing. You give it the energy, the body starts to heal. And so for whatever reason, for the body, because it's so brilliant, that was a priority in healing. And that started to regenerate those nerves, and she started to get feeling back. So again, just paying attention to what's happening without expectation. And I think that's really just noticing, right? So we do the lung channel. What should we expect? Like, wow, whatever. I don't know what to expect.
Right.
Just why.
I think just the easier breathing, I mean, a lot of us don't breathe easily. We, and I do a lot of work with a company that has a lot of lung patients. And you and I have talked about that. And, I talk to them, the patients that we have, about breathing. And I think the wand, if we can't go to the acupuncturist every day, right? And the wand does it for us. Yes. And does more for us. And Ricky, it is better. Basically, it is better than acupuncture. And that's okay. That's great. I want to say that. But, I mean, just think you can do it every day. You can say, oh, I'm going to do my lung channel every day. I'm just going to do this and then be gone with, or maybe twice a day. Oh, I'm going to do it it's 3 a.m. I can't sleep. I'm going to do it. And you'll just have to put your partner or whomever's in the house, you put some
earplugs in and just go for it. I love that. And Kym, thank you so much for being so open to say that. And it doesn't mean, the thing with acupuncture is so much, so you know how to use it, but to be able to, basically you turn it on and blow. That's always what we're saying. Like, don't worry. You don't, I have to do it this way. I have to do it. Turn it on and blow. You're going to hit some acupuncture point along the way. Something good's going to happen.
And you know the saying, keep it simple, right? Keep it simple.
And the other thing about the breath that I just know, because I do teach, fitness and I teach Qigong, and in Qigong, it is so much about that energy, and the gentle somatic yoga is just that slow, deep breathing, diaphragm from the belly, in opening and really opening up, opening in the chest. What's happening when we do this? Think about that lung channel, right? All the way up. And then slowly bring it down, exhale, right? And inhale. And by the third time, all of a sudden, I can really feel like I'm able to really get that deeper breath. The rib cage is able to expand more, right? And now I also understand that part of what's happening is, right, just that Qigong motion is opening what? The lung channel. Right. Yeah. And that also helps us relax.
Yes.
We need that deep breathing to relax, to activate the vagus nerve, to activate the relaxation, and to really sink down and be present in our bodies. So beautiful. And what a good time to start to do that with the equinox.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just great. I think it's such an exciting, and I'm so glad it was today, the first day of fall. It's just,
I know.
Oh my gosh, it's just great.
It was. Yeah. And I didn't even realize it when you said, hey, let's do this, we'll do that. And I'm like, I didn't realize it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we're doing it right on the day. Imagine that. It couldn't be any better.
Yeah, it's time to get out the pumpkin spice coffee. And
pumpkins aren't even a white food.
Right.
But it is a root.
But pumpkin seeds are.
Oh, yes. And lots of good zinc and good stuff in there to help with
And there's
immune.
white gourds. You
There
know,
are,
there are white pumpkins, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
there are actually. Yes.
I
Beautiful.
don't know how they taste. I don't know what they do. I just know them as being the pumpkins that are white that you could or pretty or whatever. But
The white pumpkins.
it's for the people that don't like orange. I don't know. I have
The
no idea.
white food lovers. So beautiful. Well, Kym, thank you so much once again for sharing your beautiful knowledge with us. We so appreciate it. And thank you guys for being on. And we'll have this recording so you can always go back and listen to it. And we have more coming for you from Dr. Kym, maybe next week, but soon, if not then. And much love. Much love to all of you. Thanks so much. And just, you guys, have a terrific rest of the week and go blow.
That's right. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.